Hey guys, it's Jen. Just randomly decided to pop on and talk a little bit this morning about just kind of what I was thinking about this morning. So this morning I got up and I'm getting around and taking a shower and everything, and started listening to music, and Casting Crowns is on my playlist, and it was talking about, praise you in the storm. And so, hey Terry, how are you? Hi Caitlin. And so when I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the song, and I'm like, yeah, this is so good. I love it, And then I'm sitting there thinking about it going, why do we only praise him in the storm? Now, I know we don't all only praise him in the storm, but like, I'm sitting there going, why do we only think about that when something's going wrong? Do you know what I mean? And so, just bear with me, because I'm not really sure exactly how I want to talk about this stuff today, but I just felt like it was really important to come on and just talk about it. So part of like my mission and what I always talk about is to go deep within your soul and trust that, right? Like, so finding that divine connection within yourself, finding that divine connection and that divine spark, and learning how to make that something that you're connected to every single day, right? And my guides lately have been telling me about the theme has been ancient wisdom and getting back to the basics. And so in my group, we've talked about this a couple times about, getting back to the basics and what does that mean, and what is the ancient wisdom. And I think a lot of what I'm feeling right now about the ancient wisdom, hey everybody, I see Becky and is it Tirsa? I hope I said that right. And Pauline, hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. So kind of what I'm going to challenge everybody to do, I guess that's why I'm coming on today, is to challenge you and ask you, where are you looking for divine guidance only when it's in the storm? And are you trusting divine guidance even in the mundane, right? So like today, getting ready, I knew I had some errands to run, doing a little bit of laundry, just some basic things like that. And I thought it was so funny because, like I said, my guides have been talking about going back to basics. And I thought it was really interesting today, like how much I actually enjoyed just the process of going and doing laundry and something basic, right? The other thing that they've been telling me a lot of lately is to really be in the moment. And I'm doing my life coaching program right now too. And it's funny because one of the modules from one of the modules in this month is being present, right? Being really in the moment and enjoying every single little thing that you're doing and really being immersed in whatever it is you're doing. So it's being in that space of being present and being in the moment. And can you be in a space where you're doing the basic things like laundry or dishes or, your work or whatever it is, and still be connected to that divine spark, right? Because that's kind of what I want to help people understand. And that's part of my life coaching program. And that's open all the time now. So it's a continual, you can join at any time. So if you're ever interested in that, just let me know and we can talk about it more. But basically, it's how do we bring that divinity? How do we bring that divine spark, that connection to God into everything that we do, right? So that the pain and the yuck that we have, like instead of only listening to the Casting Crown song and saying, I will praise you in the storm, what if you praise him in everything, right? And I know that a lot of people do. And for those of you that do, that's flippin' fantastic. But I'm human and I forget sometimes, but my guides lately have been reminding me that part of the ancient wisdom is being connected to that all the time. Like if you think about, like the movie Pocahontas, she's really into really being connected with everything around her, right? The birds, the trees, the water, everything, just being completely like involved in everything around her, if that makes sense. Giving respect and having, that just awe of what's around her, right? So it's like having that reverence of life itself and just being in that space. And I feel like, I really want to bridge the gap between spirituality and being human, and how do we bring those together all at the same time, right? So I see a couple people on. If you guys have questions to help me along, because I just felt like I needed to do this video and I don't really know exactly what I want to convey with it, other than I just want to ask, like, where are you at and how does that feel to you? And how do we make this more of a topic that we talk about every day, so that it's not just in certain settings and it's not just at certain times, or that we don't just use connecting to the divine in the struggle of life and in as a default or as a fallback, right? Like when things get really bad, you fall back to knowing that you have that divine connection. But how do we bring the divine connection, and how do we bring that spark, that divine spark that you have inside you? How do we really ignite that so that it's every day that you're connected to that all the time? And I don't know why that popped in my head this morning, because I listened to that song, a lot, right? You know what I mean? And so I'm listening to some of the music and I'm like, why do we only praise him in the storm? And I know that we don't only do that. Like I said, I'm just trying to kind of work through it and see, just wondering if anybody else ever feels that way, or if you ever kind of get in that space where you're like, why would I only praise him in the storm? Why do I only do this as a fallback? How can I make this a part of my daily life? And part of the reason, I'm actually doing a business challenge right now too, and she's a really soul-centered gal that does this business coaching, and it's so funny because I was telling her today, like, it actually felt good to do some of the basic things. So like doing the laundry actually felt good today, which is one of those things I usually hate. Most of you guys that know me know I usually have a housekeeper, all of those kind of things. Like, I'm not shy about saying that that's the stuff I don't really like to do. But it's coming back to the wisdom of knowing that if you're going to do it, be in it and enjoy it and make it fun and happy, right? So I really tried to throw myself into it today, and I really enjoyed the warmth of the clothes and the smell of the laundry. You know what I mean? Like the smell of the laundry after it was all done, and how it just smells so clean and fresh. And it's just interesting to me that my guides have been talking about ancient wisdom and getting back to the basics. And I think that's the ancient wisdom that they're talking about, is really understanding how to enjoy your day, how to really, like my book, Create a Life You Love. But what if your life is already there and the only thing you've got to do to create a life that you love is to actually enjoy what you've already got, right? And then of course you can always, then I think once you figure out how to be in that space of knowing that you have a divine spark and knowing how to connect that divine spark to universe, God, whatever, because I'm not being religious, and for me it's always God and Jesus and the angels, but whatever that is for you out there, what is that your divinity is tied to? What can you know that you love, and that there is a creator that made all of this stuff that's just amazing, right? Like, all the simplicity of it is amazing. And once you are at a point where you understand that, and that you know that you have a divine spark, and that there is so much more than the mundane stuff that we do every day, and how do you bring a little bit of that magic into every single day, right? Once you kind of start figuring that out, once you learn how to let go of the negative thinking and the limiting beliefs and the things that keep us trapped and small, right? Then you can really move into a life that you do create, that you love. But I feel like the first step is just understanding that we've all got to go deep within our soul and start trusting that inner voice and that inner knowing and that gut feeling in everything we do, right? And instead of doing things because we should do them or that's what's expected, being in a space that we're going to follow what feels good in our gut and do what we feel like we're called to do. And then when you can really start enjoying the present moment and being fully in the now, fully in whatever you're doing, then it's so much easier to start learning how to create and use law of attraction by being positive and being happy, and knowing that you do have a little bit of say in creating a life you love, which, again, it's great to say, oh, well, I'm going to leave it up to God, but you've got to have inspired action too. You've got to do something to create the energy moving and be a team player. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot I could talk about on, like, law of attraction and how to really create a life you love. But I feel like it really starts from the basics of being happy right where you are. Hey, Janita. And being in that space of going deep within your soul and trusting it, learning how to bring your spirituality and your divinity and that divine spark into the everyday things that we do, right? And when you can get that down and then start really believing your worth and your value, then you can start creating whatever you want in life, and it can be so much more fun and so much more enjoyable, and you really can create a life you love. So anyway, thanks for jumping on with me today. For those of you that saw it, if you have any questions or comments, just post them below, and I'll talk to everybody soon.